Ozempic.
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 A game changer.
Injectable weight loss drugs are hot.
The hype around drugs like Ozempic is sweeping the globe.
The market for weight loss drugs could reach $100 billion in the next 8 years. They could become the highest grossing drugs of all time.
These new drugs were clearly going to be popular. It probably got a little bit too exciting.
A woman in London thought she had finally found the shortcut. After months of scrolling TikTok and Instagram, watching influencers shrink in weeks, hearing whispers about a miracle injection that melts fat, she decided to try it. But there was a problem. Her doctor wouldn't prescribe it. The pharmacy said it was out of stock. Clinics were charging insane prices. Then she found someone on Telegram. No prescription, no waiting list, discreet shipping, half the price. 3 weeks later, she was in the hospital with a racing heart, blurred vision, and uncontrollable vomiting. The pen she injected into her stomach wasn't what she thought it was. It wasn't Ozempic, it wasn't even close, and she's not alone. Because behind the world's most talked about weight loss drug is a booming underground industry worth billions. Fake pens, counterfeit labels, smuggled batches, refilled injectors, organized crime networks, and thousands of desperate people willing to risk everything for a smaller number on the scale. This is the Ozempic black market scam, and it's way bigger than you think. Before we go further, I want to ask you something simple. If you were promised fast weight loss with almost no effort, would you take the risk? Be honest. Drop yes or no in the comments. I genuinely want to see what you think. Let's rewind. Ozempic is the brand name for a drug called semaglutide, made by the Danish pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk. It was originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes. It works by mimicking a hormone called GLP-1, which regulates blood sugar and slows digestion. But something unexpected happened. Patients started losing weight, a lot of weight. Word spread fast. Celebrities began mysteriously slimming down. Silicon Valley executives, reality TV stars, influencers. Suddenly, this diabetes drug became the worst-kept secret in Hollywood. And when Novo Nordisk released a higher-dose version specifically for weight loss under the name Wegovy, demand exploded. Doctors couldn't keep up. Pharmacies ran out. Waiting lists stretched for months. Insurance companies refused to cover it unless you met strict medical criteria. Scarcity is where scams are born. When something is in short supply and high demand, someone will create a fake version. And that's exactly what happened. At first, it was small scale. A few shady websites claiming to sell discount Ozempic, some fake online pharmacies offering overnight shipping. But as demand kept rising, the black market professionalized. Criminal networks saw an opportunity. In Europe, authorities began seizing shipments of counterfeit Ozempic pens. Some were nearly identical to the real thing. Same blue packaging, same labeling, same barcode format. Except the liquid inside wasn't semaglutide. In some cases, it was insulin. In others, it was saline. In a few terrifying cases, it was completely unknown substances mixed in unsterile labs. Imagine injecting something into your body that was bottled in a garage. In the United Kingdom, regulators warned of fake pens circulating through social media platforms. In the United States, the FDA issued alerts about counterfeit versions entering the supply chain. In Germany and Austria, pharmacies unknowingly received falsified stock. This wasn't just random scammers anymore. This was organized. Here's how the scam typically works. Step 1. Create supply fear. Scammers flood social media with posts claiming limited stock or last batch available. They use stolen before and after photos. They impersonate doctors. They buy fake reviews. Step 2. Offer convenience. No prescription needed, discreet packaging, global shipping, lower prices than clinics. Step 3. Remove accountability. Payment through crypto, bank transfers, peer-to-peer apps, no refunds. And once you inject it, there's no reversing it. One of the darkest parts of this scam is how personal it is. Weight is emotional. It's tied to confidence, relationships, self-image. When people feel stuck, they become vulnerable. And vulnerability is the fuel of every scam. Think about it. You see people online transforming in weeks. You hear friends talking about miracle results. You try dieting again and again with no success. Then you're told there's a simple weekly injection that could change everything. Would you wait 6 months for a prescription? Or would you click the Telegram link? That's the psychological trap. But it gets worse. Even when the pen contains real semaglutide, there's another layer to the black market. Refilled pens. Some criminals buy legitimate Ozempic pins, extract the medication, dilute it, then refill multiple counterfeit pins with smaller doses. They reseal the packaging and sell them as new. So you might be injecting a diluted product that doesn't work, or worse, one contaminated during the refill process. There have been reports of severe infections linked to improperly stored or tampered injectables. These pins are supposed to be kept at specific temperatures. Mishandle them, and the chemical stability changes. Now imagine buying one from someone's backpack. Authorities have traced some counterfeit batches back to international trafficking routes normally used for narcotics. That's how profitable this became. And the profit margins are insane. A real Ozempic pin can cost hundreds of pounds or dollars per month. Counterfeiters can manufacture fake versions for a fraction of that. Even selling at half price, they're making massive returns. It's the perfect scam product. High demand, high price, injectable format, social media hype. And here's something even more uncomfortable. The hype itself helped build the black market. When celebrities refuse to admit they're using it, when influencers casually mention it without discussing medical supervision, it creates a culture of secrecy. People don't want to ask their doctor. They don't want to feel judged. So they search quietly online, and that's where the scammers are waiting. In some countries, compounding pharmacies entered the scene. These are legal facilities that mix customized medications. Because of shortages, some began offering compounded semaglutide. Now this part is complicated. Compounding itself isn't illegal, but the rapid surge in demand created loopholes. Some facilities operated with less oversight. Others sourced ingredients from questionable suppliers. So now you have 3 layers of risk. Fully counterfeit pins made by criminals, refilled or tampered legitimate pins, and loosely regulated compounded versions. To the average person, they all look similar. The packaging says semaglutide. The pin looks professional. The website looks clean. But the consequences can be severe. Doctors have reported cases of extreme nausea, dehydration, pancreatitis, and dangerously low blood sugar from misused or fake products. Some patients didn't even realize they were injecting insulin instead of semaglutide, which can cause hypoglycemia if you're not diabetic. That's life-threatening. And yet, the black market keeps growing. Why? Because the demand hasn't slowed down. Novo Nordisk became one of the most valuable companies in Europe, largely due to the success of semaglutide-based drugs. Entire economies noticed. Denmark's GDP was reportedly influenced by the global sales boom. When a single medication reshapes a company's valuation and affects global markets, criminals pay attention. But here's the deeper issue. Ozempic wasn't originally designed for cosmetic weight loss. It was built for diabetes management. The sudden off-label demand for weight loss created shortages for diabetic patients who actually needed it to regulate blood sugar. So now the black market doesn't just exploit vanity, it exploits medical necessity. Some diabetic patients turn to unofficial sellers because their pharmacy shelves were empty. Imagine needing a drug to control your glucose levels and being told it's out of stock because influencers made it trendy. That frustration creates another entry point for scammers. And scammers don't care why you're buying, they just care that you are. Let's talk numbers. Global seizures of counterfeit weight loss injections have increased sharply over the last 2 years. Online searches for "buy Ozempic without prescription" have skyrocketed. Social media platforms regularly remove accounts selling injectable medications illegally, but new ones appear daily. It's whack-a-mole. And technology is making it easier. Deepfake testimonials, AI-generated before and after photos, automated chatbots posing as clinic assistants, entire fake pharmacy websites built in hours. You might think you'd never fall for it, but the scam isn't designed to look like a scam. It's designed to look like a solution. There's a massive difference. Scams that promise unrealistic returns are obvious, but scams that promise something people already believe is possible are dangerous. You've seen real people lose weight on semaglutide. So when a seller claims they have stock, it doesn't sound absurd, it sounds lucky, and the scarcity pressure makes you move fast. Only 5 pins left, last shipment before price increase, doctor approved. These phrases are engineered to bypass rational thinking. Now here's something most people don't realize. Even real Ozempic isn't risk-free. It requires proper dosing schedules, medical screening, and monitoring for side effects. Starting at too high a dose can cause severe gastrointestinal distress. Patients are usually titrated slowly over weeks. Black market sellers don't do that. They don't check your medical history. They don't ask about thyroid issues, pancreatic conditions, or existing medications. They send the pin, and you're on your own. The irony is brutal. People buy it to improve their health and confidence, but the black market version can destroy both. And this story isn't ending anytime soon. New GLP-1 drugs are entering the market. More hype, more media coverage, more celebrity rumors. Every wave of attention brings another wave of counterfeits. This isn't just about Ozempic. It's about what happens when medical breakthroughs collide with social media obsession and global supply chains. The same formula has played out before. Think about counterfeit Botox, fake COVID vaccines, black market steroids. Whenever a drug becomes culturally desirable, someone will fake it. The Ozempic black market is just the latest chapter. But here's what makes this one different. It's normalized. People joke about it at dinner parties. They whisper about it at the gym. They DM each other links. It doesn't feel criminal, it feels convenient. And that's why it's thriving. So what can people actually do? First, understand that prescription medications are controlled for a reason. Not to gatekeep, not to annoy you, but because dosage, storage, and sourcing matter. Second, verify supply chains. Licensed pharmacies, registered clinics, real doctors. Third, question urgency. If someone is pressuring you to pay immediately through crypto for a medical product, that alone is a red flag the size of a billboard. But beyond individual choices, there's a bigger cultural question. Why are so many people willing to risk injecting mystery substances? What does that say about the pressure to look a certain way? I'm not here to judge anyone. Weight loss is hard. Modern food environments are engineered for overconsumption. Sedentary lifestyles are common. Medical help can be life-changing. But desperation is profitable, and scammers build empires on desperation. The woman in London eventually recovered. The hospital traced her symptoms to a counterfeit injection containing insulin. She was lucky. Others haven't been. Authorities continue seizing shipments. Platforms continue banning sellers. Novo Nordisk continues increasing production. But as long as demand outpaces supply, the underground market will adapt. And here's the final uncomfortable truth. Some people buying from the black market know it's risky. They just believe the reward outweighs the danger. That's the psychology of every high-risk scam. Short-term gain, long-term consequences. Before you go, I want to ask you again. If this drug had never gone viral on social media, do you think the black market would exist at this scale? Or did hype create the crime? Tell me what you think in the comments. If you found this breakdown valuable, take 1 second to like the video. It genuinely helps push these investigations to more people who might need to hear them. Share this with someone who's been talking about quick weight loss injections. It could save them from a very expensive mistake. And if you're new here, subscribe. This channel exposes the scams hiding in plain sight, from billion-dollar frauds to underground markets built on hype. And if you haven't seen my last deep dive on how Olaf Gustafsson used Pablo Escobar's name to make millions with the fake Escobar phone, you need to watch that next. It's a perfect example of how branding, hype, and desperation can trick thousands of people. Click into that video right now, because the biggest scams aren't always illegal at first. They're just too good to question. I'll see you in the next one.